From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Tonight, we're digging deeper into how Ball State University is responding to recent incidents on campus and what they are now doing to keep students safe. Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. For the last 24 hours, this story has been one of the top stories on WRTV.com. Student organizations are coming together, putting out statements and demands to the university after they say caravans of President Trump supporters have intimidated students and threatened violence. This is a letter student leaders at Ball State University sent to the campus community. It was written by the Big Four, Ball State, which includes the Black Student Association and 3 other organizations. In it, leaders say they condemn the violent and antagonistic presence of Trump car parades on campus. On Friday night, several videos were posted to social media. WRTV got permission to use this short clip, but we do not have permission from the original source of the other videos.
You saw people posting online on Friday night, about what this group was doing.
Gavin Scholes is the chair of Ball State College Republicans. His organization also put out a statement after the reports that the caravan caused disruptions Friday, including physical violence to people they passed by, which included throwing objects.
We really wanted to just distinguish that while we support President Trump and while we hope the recounts overturn, what the current result is leaning towards, we're not a part of this. We do not condone harassing anybody.
Scholes says he's also seen reports of the supporters yelling inconsiderate language, including racially and sexually demeaning slurs. The Big Four says in its letter a group of Black students had bottles thrown at them from the caravan of Trump supporters. Violence
and harassing people and that stuff is not the way to protest. There's just no place for that at Ball State or anywhere for that matter.
In the letter from the Big Four to the university, the students say they must hold the university accountable as the safety and security of the campus community is under attack. They are demanding 4 action items: investigate recent incidents of harmful conduct, immediate response from Ball State University, increased security presence on behalf of students of color, and extend campus shuttle service. Ball State President Jeffrey Mearns did respond on Saturday. In a statement, he acknowledges receiving a letter from leaders of several student organizations. He says the university is taking steps to prevent further disruptive, unwelcome, and intimidating actions. That includes increasing police presence at the entrance of campus and in the surrounding neighborhoods. Shuttle service will also be expanded, effective immediately. President Mearns recognizes that tensions are high across the country, but he says the university will not tolerate harassment. He is urging students to not engage if provoked, instead call university police. He says he believes the people in the caravans are from outside of the campus community. As the next chapter in U.S. history begins, we take a look at what's next for President-elect Joe Biden and the change he plans to bring to the White House. This after a contentious battle for presidency with no word on when President Trump might concede. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest from Wilmington, Delaware.
With 10 weeks to go until he officially takes over the highest office in the nation, President-elect Joe Biden hitting the ground running.
I'll work as hard for those who didn't vote for me as those who did.
And his transition team is also already hard at work. First on the to-do list, tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. Biden's coronavirus task force expected to be unveiled Monday. Sources also tell ABC News he's discussing reversing Trump policies with executive orders, including rejoining the Paris Climate Accords and the World Health Organization. His COVID-19 plan calls for doubling the number of testing sites, investing in at-home tests, and encouraging governors to mandate masks.
That plan will be built on bedrock science.
As he prepares for his new position, he made some time for himself and his family Sunday, attending church in the morning, then visiting the graves of his late first wife, daughter, and son, Beau. Meantime, many in the nation recognizing Kamala Harris as a trailblazer, the first female vice president-elect, also the first Black person and Asian American to hold that title.
While I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
As for President Trump, he was spotted golfing for the second day in a row. He and his campaign team still claiming the election was stolen and pushing the false narrative of widespread voter fraud with little evidence to back it up. Senator Lindsey Graham backing the president on Fox News.
President Trump should not concede. If I were President Trump, I would take all this to court. I'd fight back.
Sources tell ABC News they do believe President Trump will eventually concede, but right now he is more focused on taking legal action and recounting votes. In Wilmington, Delaware, Rena Roy, ABC News.
Rena, thank you. As Kamala Harris accepts her place in history as not only the first woman to become the vice president-elect, but also the first woman of color to burst through the barrier. Many are still taking it all in. Tonight, as WRTV's Troy Washington shows us, Hoosiers are sharing what this monumental moment means to them.
The people have made a choice, and they decided to elect Kamala Harris.
A woman, but not only that, the daughter of not one but two immigrant parents. Harris becomes the first Black and Indian American woman vice president-elect, making her the highest-ranking female elected official in the United States history.
You hear about what we can become, but to see it in my lifetime, to actually see a Black woman in the White House and in D.C., it's something that I didn't believe I would see in my lifetime.
Even a day later, she's still basking in it.
It's just a moment where we as Black women have to soak this in and just take it and run with it. And what I mean by run with it is say, we've seen it happen, we can do it. Let's now continue the work that she's about to open the doors for us to do.
Belinda Drake recently made a run for state senate. She didn't win, but Saturday's victory inspired her to keep pressing for change here in Indiana.
It gave me hope, but it also gave me motivation to get back to the work, stay on the ground, continue to organize.
She says while seeing this might be shocking because Harris is the first.
This is like the new norm. Is what I like to call it, like for that next generation, for the kids that are under age 10. I hope that she creates a space and opportunity for us to then have a Black female president. Then we start having more Black female governors, or whatever you want to be at this point. You can literally be anything that you want to be as a Black woman in this country, and she's proved that.
Working for you downtown, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. Harris is also the first South Asian woman and the first graduate of a historically Black university to be elected to the office. She is also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, a century-old organization dedicated to promoting social activism. New developments in the case of DREASJON Reed. WRTV Investigates has learned Metro police officers have been told the grand jury reviewing Reed's shooting death could potentially release its findings as early as tomorrow. Reed was shot and killed following a police chase that turned into a foot chase on May 6th. Metro police say Reed shot at police, while the Reed family's legal team denies that. State police and a special prosecutor led the investigation. Again, WRTV Investigates has learned officers are aware of a pending decision from the grand jury. Reed's family says they hope the grand jury will listen to eyewitnesses and reach a decision to indict. He dedicated his life to community service, but that life was tragically cut short by a stray bullet last month in New York City. Earlier tonight on the east side, a fundraiser in honor of 20-year-old IU student Ethan Williams, with proceeds going to local charities the young man supported. The fundraiser took place at Beholder Restaurant where Ethan worked. One of the highlights of the night was the pop-up burger bar. The chef says Ethan loved a good burger and he always wanted to do a pop-up bar.
We wanted to have our regulars come in and do the tasting menu, spend a little bit more money that we could give away, and then we wanted to include all of Ethan's buddies too. So doing a burger night just to honor him.
His last tweet was he wanted to do a burger pop-up, and so kind of live in his memory, do some toast, think about some memories, share some stories. If we need to cry, we'll do some crying. So.
A large part of the money raised tonight will go towards a library named for Ethan at the Imana Kids Hope Village. Ethan was shot while visiting New York for the first time with friends. He graduated from Franklin Central High School and was a member of the Indianapolis Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. His parents and friends say he was passionate about finding solutions to poverty and violence in Indianapolis.
Now to your forecast, meteorologist Kyle Mounts is standing by as we wrap up a really nice weekend. And Kyle, the nice weather continues into the work week.
Yeah, we're going to keep this beautiful weather and very warm temperatures out there this afternoon. Nicole, look at how far above average we were today with those high temperatures, 20 to 30 degrees above where we should be. And probably no surprise, that was certainly enough for a record today. We made it to 79 degrees. The previous record set back in 1915 of 76. As we look out there tonight, many areas are still sitting in the 60s. We've got some cooler 50s, though, settling around Bloomington and Columbus. I think temperatures will be leveling off, especially as we get just a few clouds moving in overhead tonight, but not going to be seeing any rain from those as kids head out to the bus stop. Just a light jacket in the morning, mostly clear and 56, and not bad heading home at 76 degrees. We'll talk about when those temperatures will start to tumble in a few minutes.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The State Department of Health reports 4,689 new cases. 36 more Hoosiers have died with COVID-19, bringing the total number of deaths to 4,383. Since March, more than 210,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 3 million tests have been administered in Indiana. The surge in COVID-19 cases across the state is prompting some school districts to rethink their plans. Students in Greenwood have been attending class in person this year, but starting on Monday, the high school and middle school will move to a hybrid schedule. District leaders making the change in response to those growing COVID-19 numbers. Johnson County currently has a positivity rate of almost 9% and is classified as orange on the state dashboard. That is when health leaders recommend moving to that hybrid model. New Palestine High School parents received a message this weekend telling them the school will switch to virtual learning effective immediately. This comes after administrators received notification of 6 positive COVID-19 tests for students and staff at the school. The superintendent says contact tracing has been completed and all families involved have been notified. For now, the plan is to stay virtual until at least November 30th. And starting on Monday, Bartholomew County schools will move to an e-learning model. This will last through Tuesday, November 24th. That is the last day before their Thanksgiving break. In a statement, the district says the spread of COVID-19 in the community is making it difficult to continue normal operating procedures like staffing buildings and providing bus routes. The plan as of now is to return to in-person and remote learning options on Monday, the 30th. As Jeopardy fans mourn the passing of host Alex Trebek, we hear from people who knew him on a personal level. That's coming up next. And a customer apparently asked a store clerk the wrong question. Her response landed him and another man with several cuts and bruises. We'll tell you what triggered her violent reaction. Tonight, we remember Alex Trebek, who lost his battle with pancreatic cancer earlier today. Following the announcement of his death, social media was flooded with remembrance of the longtime Jeopardy host. More now from ABC's Alex Dimber.
Jeopardy host Alex Trebek died early Sunday at his home, surrounded by family and friends, following a battle with pancreatic cancer. Trebek presided over the Answers and Questions game show for 36 years.
Here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Mourners remembering the beloved game show host at his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Tributes began pouring in almost immediately. Ken Jennings, who won a record 74 consecutive games on Jeopardy, writing, "Alex wasn't just the best ever at what he did. He was also a lovely and deeply decent man, and I'm grateful for every minute I got to spend with him." Another famous Jeopardy alum, James Holzhauser, was a contestant during Trebek's cancer battle, tweeting, "It was one of the great privileges of my life to spend time with this courageous man while he fought the battle of his life. You will never be replaced in our hearts, Alex." And Albert Thacker, who appeared on an episode just this past week, was moved to tears during a post-show conversation.
I learned English because of you. And so my grandfather, who raised me, I'm going to get tears right now. I used to sit on his lap and watch you every day. So it's a pretty special moment for me, man.
Today, writing he is overwhelmed with emotion. For the man who had all the answers, Trebek admitted he learned a lot about life in his final days.
Make the most of today. Stop worrying about the future. Just treat every day as a blessing and enjoy it to the fullest and try to be aware of when you leave this earth that you've made a difference in the lives of other people, a positive difference.
Alex Trebek was 80 years old. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
Andrew, thank you. An Ohio woman is accused of assaulting two men during an argument over a face mask inside of a Cincinnati gas station. The incident happened a week ago, and the men are still recovering from their injuries. Stephen Long says he stepped up to the counter to pay, but first he asked the clerk what he thought was an innocent question.
I asked the clerk, I said, "Are you not enforcing the mask rule anymore?" And this woman turned around with some explicit language and just smacked me right in the face.
Both men say the clerk then threw soda cans at them, plus food like apples and oranges. She then attacked the other man, even kicking him as he lay on the floor. Stephen called 911 and then tried to break up the fight. Then it became a free-for-all as other people jumped into the fight on the side of the angry clerk. They all ran away as police arrived. Officers arrested the clerk, and she now faces assault charges. As the pandemic continues, Hoosier families right here in central Indiana are still being impacted when it comes to food insecurity. Members at a local church are working to ease some of the barriers that those families face. Resurrection Lutheran Church hosted a Pack Away Hunger meal packing event this morning. The church's Weekender Backpack Ministry has been a partner with Pack Away Hunger since the ministry started. Those who host meal packing events like this decide whether the meals stay local or go overseas to those in need. Over 3 days, 7,000 meals packed here by the church will now go directly to local students.
They pack backpacks full of food, including the meal that you see here today, in addition to a bunch of other food. And so they put these meals into backpacks and give them discreetly to children here in the Indianapolis area at their schools.
You can make contributions and help others around you with just small acts that, 2 hours of our time on a Sunday is, just a small gesture, but it has a huge impact in our community. They are going directly to the students starting this week.
The meal pouch students provide 6 meals to help their family get through the weekend. Today, volunteers stayed a healthy distance away from each other, wore masks, hairnets, and gloves. And for the first time, this event was hosted at the church due to the pandemic. Kyle, if parents are laying out the outfit for the kids in the morning, they could consider shorts because it's going to be warm once again.
Yeah, it's going to be another very comfortable day here. And even though our temperatures have fallen by about 20 degrees from that afternoon high, still feels pretty good out there here tonight. We've got 60 degrees in Indy, 55 for you in Columbus, still 64 at this hour in Lafayette as we've had a few more clouds moving in. And there's a lot of warmth back to the west. There's also some colder air in Bismarck. It's 30 degrees, but this air is going to be kind of taking its time getting our direction. In fact, as we look at the cold front, you can actually see the rain is lifting a little more toward the north, but eventually by about Tuesday night, the wet weather will slide into central Indiana. As we look at TrueCast for you tomorrow, we are going to have some clouds around. I don't think, even though you see a little bit of light green showing up here, we're not going to have to deal with any rain as we go throughout our Monday. And as we head into the afternoon, mix of sun and clouds for us. That'll pretty much do it. But temperatures tomorrow morning starting off in the middle 50s for us. 56 in Bloomington, 55 in Indy, and 56 degrees in Muncie. This is pretty close to where we should be for the afternoon high. So we start off in good shape and we will finish very nice. Temperatures already 65 degrees at 10 a.m., noon, lunch. Take it outdoors. 72 for that temperature. We'll have a light south wind. It'll get a little breezy into the afternoon, around 15 miles per hour. But that will come with temperatures in the middle 70s once again. Close to 80 for you in Bloomington and Columbus. 77 for our Monday afternoon in Danville. 78 in Rushville. And again, that's going to be rivaling some record high temperatures on Monday. Forecasting 76 in Indy, also the record. And then as we get into Tuesday, 75, both the forecast and record there. So we may see a couple more of those fall as we go through the next couple of days. We talked about that rain chance, though. This is TrueCast. As we get into Tuesday evening, we've got the clouds around. The rain starts to move in around 8 o'clock. Tuesday evening around Fowler, and then as it slides through, notice it's a pretty pencil-thin line for us as we get to 11 o'clock Tuesday night. So not expecting much in the way of rain out of the system. And at this point on Tuesday, the severe weather threat, the marginal risk, is back across portions of Missouri and western Illinois. We'll see if that's extended our way for some gusty winds within a few of those storms. Temperatures, good shape here through Tuesday at 75. Then it falls by 20 degrees Wednesday afternoon. That'll be an adjustment at 55 for the high. You'll need to layer up there. And we'll keep highs in the middle to upper 50s right into next weekend with a chance of showers as we go into Saturday and Sunday. When we come back, Brad Brown recaps today's Colts game.
The Colts had a matchup against one of the league's top teams this afternoon and one of the NFL's best players on the opposing sideline as well. The Ravens and quarterback Lamar Jackson are headed back to Baltimore now with a win. Brad Brown has a recap now of Sunday's action.
The final score reads Baltimore 24, Indianapolis 10. But what did we learn about the Colts here in this Week 9 matchup? Well, we learned once again that the defense is still among the very best in the league. In the first half, they held Lamar Jackson and the Ravens under 100 yards and kept the Baltimore offense off of the scoreboard. But the Colts defense is not invincible. By the time the second half rolled around, and particularly into the fourth quarter, they just simply looked gassed. They were tired. They got worn out by a couple of long Baltimore drives. And in the end, they did not have an answer for the mixed offense that Jackson brings. And ultimately, Baltimore was able to run things forward.
In the second half, we just need to, convert, especially on third down, making certain key stops to get the ball back to the offense. We're going to look at that and learn from it.
We're a good team, stopping the run, but we got to be way better. I think they rushed for 110 total. That can't happen. We got to get off the field. We got to make a place on offense.
And then what about the Indy offense? First quarter drive got them on the board, but then it was just a matter of missed plays and missed opportunities. A couple of turnovers. The first one turned into the first 7 points for the Ravens, and a third quarter interception that may or may not have been turned into another TD for Baltimore as well. Phillip Rivers, a decent day numbers-wise, but not at all happy with his performance at the end of the day.
Unfortunate, because it wasn't our best day, but it wasn't terrible day. We were rolling pretty good in the first half, but anytime you turn it over and they score with it, and then you throw, that interception to start the third quarter after the defense got a turnover, we just couldn't overcome those.
In the second half, both sides of the ball weren't good enough. That's the end. The end of the story was in the second half, as a team, we were not good enough against a team that you got to play full 60 minutes.
The Colts won't have long to think about this one. Their Thursday night game comes up later this week, and it will be an important one as they make a trip to Tennessee. The Titans won on this Sunday. They hold a one-game lead in the AFC South Division heading into this Week 10 matchup. Those two same teams will play here at Lucas Oil Stadium at the end of the month, but the game ahead of them is the important one right now. At Lucas Oil Stadium, Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
They've been falling for weeks. Now the city of Indianapolis is ready to start picking up all the leaves you've been raking, blowing, bagging, and setting out near the curb. Starting Monday, DPW crews will pick up 40 bags of leaves from your house on your weekly trash day through Friday, December 4th. They would like you to put the leaves in plastic bags because paper bags deteriorate and break apart in wet weather. Keep the bags at least 3 feet away from your regular trash, and this is the best way to get rid of your leaves. It is illegal to burn them in Marion County. Kyle, have you got out and raked your leaves yet?
I'm planning to just run them over with a lawnmower. That's how I take care of it. I just mulch them.
Yeah, hey,
all right.
That works.
We got highs in the 70s because they're not all down yet, and I don't want to do it multiple times.
I don't blame you.
But we got highs in the 50s by Wednesday, so things will be cooling off.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Have a great night.